In this tutorial, I'll be showing you most of the basics that you need to know in order to get a start on the Excel. The version of Excel that I'm going to be using in this tutorial is Microsoft 365. All the things we will learn today is and will be available in all the version of the Excel. So, if you're using maybe an older version or even a newer version, all the things we learned today would work. I am going to launch my Excel application, which I have in my taskbar. When I click on it, it opens up a window where Excel gives me many options to select from. It wants to know if I would like to open up an Excel template or simply open up a blank workbook. You can see there are lots of templates to choose from. There is a Welcome to Excel tour. It's a good way to kind of learn some of basics of Excel, but that's why you are watching my video. There is Business Invoice, there is Sale Analysis, there is Budget Planning Template, Employee Apps and Schedule. So there are lots of pre-built templates. I would encourage you to browse and explore these templates that are available to you. In addition to templates you have here, there is an option to search online templates. Here in the search box, you can search for any specific type of template, and search would show up all the related templates. Like here, I searched for inventory and I got all the inventory-related templates. If you find one that you want to use, you can just click on it and click Create, and Excel will make a copy of that as a spreadsheet that you can open and use in Excel. So spend some time and explore what's available. But having said that, I think in order to really learn how to use Excel fully and properly, it's best to start with a blank workbook. So I'm just going to click on that to select a blank workbook and open it up. Now we have our Excel open, and the first thing we need to do is learn about the layout that we have in Excel. There are certain terms that you should know. First of all, across the top we have some tabs. We have the Home tab, the Insert tab, Page Layout, and more, as you can see. Each tab are important and consist of specific functionality. And when you click on a particular tab, it opens up a ribbon. Like, this is the ribbon for the Page Layout tab, which is divided in groups, like Themes Group, Page Setup Group, a Scale to Fit Group, and these are all on the Page Layout ribbon. You'll notice in the corner of some of these groups, there's Small button, which opens up a detail window when you click it. Not all the groups have that button, only the group where it needs more features to present will have this button. Let's click on the button in Page Setup Group and see it opened up a detail window. We don't need to do anything in this window for now, so let me close it. Alright, a couple of other layout terms that you're going to need to know. In the spreadsheet itself, this is the spreadsheet, and spreadsheets are made up of columns and rows. So you can see we have columns with heading A, B, C, etc. And it will keep going till Z, and after that it starts with AA and continues. Now what about rows? I have row number 1, row number 2, row number 3. So spreadsheets are made up of columns and rows. Now the intersection of a column and a row is what produces a cell. So this is a cell, and every cell in Excel has a name. This particular cell is named D10, and this one is F5. And you can imagine how I got that name. It's just the intersection of the column and the row. This particular cell here has a name. It's I14. Alright, now in addition to columns, rows, and cells, there's another part of a spreadsheet that you need to know about, and that is a range. Now, a range is a group of cells that are together. A range could be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be any number of things. It's basically a group of cells that are next to each other that are together. As we have a name for a cell, same way we have name for range too. We name a range as cell name of upper left and lower right, so this selected range name is called H10 through K20. So that was some background information that you're going to need in order to really use Excel properly. Now that we've talked about the layout of the ribbon and the tabs and the groups and things, and also the spreadsheet itself with the columns, the rows, the cells, and the ranges, and actually I should add a couple more. You can see that this is all on a sheet, sheet 1, and with this plus button, I can add a sheet 2, sheet 3, etc. Each of these sheets added together is what creates a workbook. So sheets or worksheets add up to a workbook. Okay, so now that we've got all that as a foundation for our Excel use, let's now start actually creating and working on an Excel spreadsheet. Now, to make this a little bit more interesting for you to look at, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And now I'm going to click on A1 and enter some data in this A1 cell. And just as an example, let's say I want to use Excel to create an inventory of my books. This could be anything. For instance, if you are a student, you could have supplies list. If a teacher, you could have books too. But let's say I want to do an inventory of the books that I own. As soon as you're done typing books inventory in cell A1, hit enter and I have successfully entered my first data into this spreadsheet. Now it looks like these words books inventory are spilling over from A1 into B1, but that's not true. Both the words are in cell A1 only and cell B2 is empty. Select B1 to type anything and hit enter. You'll see cell A1 still has the data. Let me press delete key and clear the data from cell B1. So no need to worry if your text is too wide to fit in A1. But having said that, sometimes making your spreadsheet look nice actually helps you use it better. So let's talk about how I could maybe fix this. It's not really a problem, but how can I fix it if I want to make it look nicer? But what I can do here, I can stretch any column or any row by just putting my mouse between any two column letters or two row numbers. Like here I am putting my mouse between column A and column B, then click it and keep mouse key pressed and drag it to stretch the column width as much as you want. Once you see the desired width, release the mouse key and width of column A is adjusted. Now you may have noticed when I entered books inventory into that cell and I hit enter or return, it automatically moved me down. In Excel, when you tap enter or return, you move down the spreadsheet. If you want to move up, just hold shift key and hit enter and it will move up. What if you want to move to the right? Let's say if you want to type something in cell B1, what I would do in this case? I will just press tab key and it will move to the cell at the right, which is B1. Then I can start typing and I can go into the right with tab key and type my text. What if you want to move left? I am sure you must have guessed it and you are right, we will use the shift tab to move to the left. So shift key is basically used to do the opposite of whatever it would do otherwise. So now we know, enter is to move down, shift enter is to move up. Tab is to move right and shift tab is to move left. But this is not the only way to go to any cell. You can use arrow key too. Down arrow key to move down, up arrow key to move up, right arrow key to move right and left arrow key to move left. And of course you can use mouse as well to go to any cell. But I'll tell you, if you can learn to use Excel simply with the keyboard without using your mouse, it's really going to be a lot better for you. So now you have book inventory in my cell A1. Let me add some details about that book. I will write title in A2, where I will put book title. Now I will tab the tab key to move to right cell. This column, I will give the heading as date purchased, which is the date when I purchased that book. Then I will tab again to go to cell C2 and write author, then genre in column D2, then tab again to go to column E2 and write stock, and at the end in column F2, I will write published year and hit enter. When I hit enter, it moved me down to the left, expecting me to put in the first record about the book. So let's say I put in Atomic Habits as first book title. Again, I can press tab to move over to the right, and I will write author name as James Clear, genre is self-help, in have 18 quantity in stock and book is published in 2018. Now, I will hit enter to go to the next row and will enter more books details. Let me quickly add couple of more books details. While I am filling the information, as you can see, please take a moment and like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, here I have two records, and you'll notice that I misspelled book name of cell A5. If I click on cell A5 to try to fix that misspelling, watch what will happen. As soon as I type, it erases what was there. The reason why is because when I clicked on that cell, anything that you type replaces what is there already. It deletes what's there and then replaces it with whatever you type. So being on a cell and type will write directly in that cell, even if it has something written already. Let me press Escape key to not overwrite the book name this cell already has. To get it in a cell, you have to double-click on it. Notice what happened when I double-clicked on that cell. It actually jumped me inside the cell, and now I have a cursor that's flashing. And I can click or I can use the arrow keys to move that cursor where I want it to be. So there is a big difference between being on a cell and being in a cell. In this case, I don't want to be on a cell. So, in this case, if I am on a cell, then I will overwrite what's already there, but if I am in a cell, I can actually edit and data that cell already has. So let's correct the spelling and remove the extra letter T and hit enter. Now give me a few minutes to put in a few more records and then I'll resume the tutorial. Use this moment to like and subscribe my channel if you haven't done already. Here I have added few more books in our list. Now what we need to do next is make it look a little better. It just doesn't look quite right to our eye at this point. So what are some things that we can do to make this look nicer? First of all, here at the top, my title basically of this spreadsheet, it's kind of off to the side and it doesn't have anything that makes it stand out and look different. So I'm going to click on it on the cell and I'm going to click up here at the top on the Home tab in the Home ribbon. I can click on Bold to give it a bold look, so that will help it stand out. Notice that I can also use the Paint Bucket tool to paint the background of that cell and also can change font color. You don't really need to do it if you don't want to. So I'm going to click the arrow next to it and I'm going to go to No Fill. I can also change the color of the text itself, so that is also an option. I'm going to go back to black in this case. In addition, I can italicize or underline. Those are all good options to have. Another thing I can do is click on cell A1 and drag. I'm still holding the mouse click, and I'm going to drag until I've covered all of the content of my spreadsheet, which is at column E. I don't have anything beyond that, so I just clicked and dragged to get all the way across. Now watch what I can do. On the Home tab, Home ribbon, there's a button here in the alignment group called Merge and Center. And if I click on that, see what it did? It merged all of those cells together. So this is now one big cell. And it centered it. So Merge and Center is very helpful to do what I just did, to basically break down the walls between these cells and make it one big cell and then to center, which looks a lot better. The other thing, like I said before, the text not quite fitting in the cell kind of bothers me. So I could go up here to the top like I showed earlier and click and drag to make sure everything fits. But I want you to see a shortcut. There's a shortcut to doing this. All you have to do is go up here at the top and just go between any two of the column letters and double-click. And if you do that, look what happens. It automatically will perfectly size the columns so that all of the text will fit. When I do it for stock column. Now notice in that case, the stock column actually got narrower. It's because it doesn't need to be longer than what it is now. So I can do that with value and so forth. Let me undo this and I will show you yet another trick that's a little bit of a time saver. Instead of double-clicking between every single column one at a time, look what I can do. Click and drag on the column letters all the way across to the end of my data and then double-click between any two of these. It doesn't matter which. Double-click and notice now it automatically resized every column. Every column that I had selected was affected by that double-click and now is perfectly sized to fit the content that's in those cells. One more little shortcut or say little trick. When you click and drag on those column headings, yes, the fastest way to resize is to then double-click between any two column letters, but you could alternatively just click and drag and watch what happens. I'm going to resize this column, let go, and look, every single column was affected. Because I had selected each, they're all affected by that, and they're all exactly the same width. So hopefully those little tricks will help you to be able to resize your columns the way that makes the most sense for you. And the idea is to make your data look nice, because when it looks good, it's often easier to read, easier to understand and comprehend. Now there are good reasons sometimes to keep columns narrow, even if all the text doesn't fit. So you don't have to always make sure everything is always visible, but I want you to be able to do that when you need to. Okay, next up, I guess I do want to click here on Book Inventory and underline it to set that apart as the title. And then down here, instead of selecting each columns, I will simply click on the row number and look at that, it highlighted all the columns of that row. Now, I will make the columns of these row as bold and italic. So at this point, I hope that you are familiar now with the different names of the layout in Excel. We know what to call the different things like the tabs, the groups, the ribbons, things like that. We also know about columns, rows, cells, ranges, sheets, and workbooks. And we also know how to adjust the column widths. The same way, we can adjust the height of row as well. To do that, let me click between two rows and drag it down to make it taller. Now, I can double-click between them to perfectly resize. So all of this, in my opinion, gives you a good foundation. It helps you understand the basics of using Excel. In a future video, I'll show you some intermediate Excel tips and tricks, ways that you can save time and effort as you're building your spreadsheets. We'll also get into formulas and functions, and that's really where much of the power of Excel is found. And I'll also throw in a couple of advanced Excel tips and tricks. So please watch for that future video. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for more videos.